All right, welcome to the Franchise Time Machine. Max, good to see you. Hey, there he is. Ezra Denny, thank you so much for the raid. I appreciate it. I also appreciate you letting me hijack your chat for a while there, collecting some names for this team we're building. Um, I liked your idea of calling it the Mendoza All Stars. Oh, good. I'm glad, Ezra. But I sincerely appreciate you letting me take time out of your chat to do that. That was great. So it actually went so well that we're pretty close to full enough of a roster where we can test out this lineup. I think we just have a few holes. So for those of you who are new to my stream, I do all kinds of wacky experiments in the base game. Or some of them aren't so wacky. Some of them are just like thematic. Like after Willie Mays passed away, I brought four peak Willie Mays to the 2023 Mets, and just to kind of see what would happen. And the AI, being the AI, sent one of the Willie Mays to the reserve squad. Well, I normally let the AI run things. Oh, thank you, Ezra. I appreciate it. Yeah, any follows would be greatly appreciated. Um, and since this crowd just came from Ezra's channel, I don't think I need to tell you this, but if you're not already, by all means, you should be following Ezra Denny and his 1959 Giant save. Although I think the Giant save is kind of incidental to the entertainment of the stream. So yeah, so the AI, being the AI, it did send one of the Willie Mays to the reserve. I had to bring him back. Um, that's probably one of the more normal things I do. One of the weirder things I do is, here's an example. Um, let's see if I can find it. Oh, this is a fun one. After Paul Sporer introduced an Artie Wilson card and told us that he was missing a finger from a machinery accident, I brought five major leaguers who were missing fingers to 2023. Um, I have a recurring save of the most not safe for work names from baseball history. The one I'm looking for though is here's one where I took 10 1990 Texas Rangers and added 222 attribute points. I used to do this in the old games where it was 100 points. I should have added Alfonseca to balance the lost fingers. Someone also suggested that he should have been the manager of the team. Yeah, so this episode 29 took the 1990 Rangers, and in the old game, I would have added 100 points to each of 10 players. But in the new game, that translates to 220. Oh, we're in an ad. All right, we're back from the ad break. Here's a fun series of experiments I did. First, I brought some of my all-time favorite Major League uh, players to 2023 and just demolished the major leagues. That was the baseline setting. The next version was bringing all those players back as 50-year-olds to see what the game engine would do with them, and then brought them also back as 15-year-olds and to see what would happen with that one. The one with the 15-year-olds actually ended up being super fun because chat had a suggestion that we accelerate their development or development across the league, but it helped our team disproportionately because we had all these great, future Hall of Famers. And so it was fun seeing like, could they get good enough fast enough to make the playoffs? Because if they can make the playoffs, they would be the peak version of themselves and would almost certainly sweep the playoffs. They finished 4.5 games out, but it was a lot of fun watching see what happened. And that's an example of the kinds of things I do. And then the thing that started this whole um, the whole need for this roster of not so great major leaguers was all the stuff we learned during this experiment. So Paul Sporer introduced. He's the content director for OOTP and Perfect Team. He introduced a Nelly Fox card with a super high avoid strikeout rating. It was 173. And I want to know what would happen if a league of Nelly Foxes faced a league of Nate Cornejos. But it did not go as expected. And so, in the course of that, what we learned was how the game engine works. And essentially, because all the batters in the league were Nelly Fox, they all had high avoid K. So 173 avoid K ended up being like average avoid K, and he ended up striking out 70 to 90 times a season. And so I want to know how I could set things up so that what I was expecting to happen would happen, which is almost no strikeouts, because you have a pitcher who can't strike anyone out facing a batter who almost never strikes out. And what we found was the game engine wants to normalize things. So I think it was either Twins or might have been Nolan had said that if you bring a bunch of Babe Ruths into the league, instead of them all hitting 50 home runs, they'll all end up hitting 20 home runs. And that's not what I want. When I bring a bunch of Babe Ruths into the league in an experiment, I want them to all behave like Babe Ruth. And so started thinking about like how do we make that happen? And in doing so, we started figuring out like, okay, if you want someone to act like they have a high avoid K, you need people in the league with low avoid K. And if you want someone with low stuff to act like someone with low stuff and like not strike anyone out, you need people in the league with high stuff. So basically, if you're going to bring a bunch of great major leaguers and they're going to be the only people in the league, you kind of need some scrubs. Otherwise, the kind of major league legends are going to act like average major leaguers, which isn't what we want. I don't want average Hank Aaron. I want like all time great Hank Aaron. So here's the idea I came up with. I'm going to create a league that has, um, I guess, two conferences. I guess. Well, we can just call it the AL and the NL. I'm going to conduct the experiments in the NL. So the NL will have two teams that are empty, and every time we want to do an experiment, we'll bring players into those teams. The AL is going to have 8 teams to start with. I may have to increase that number, I may have to decrease it, but it'll have 8 teams to start with. And they're all going to have clones of this roster we're building tonight. This roster of low rated major leaguers. And they're all just going to play against each other. There's going to be no interleague play so that we don't contaminate the experiments. And my hope is that the game engine is looking across the league to see how it needs to normalize. If it doesn't do that, then I have to put them in the same league. Then I'm gonna have to manually create a schedule that isolates the two groups. And that's gonna be a pain. So I'm hoping this works. That the game engine is going to look across the entire universe, and it's not going to care that the two experimental teams are never playing the eight kind of low rated teams. All I'm hoping that all that matters is they exist in the same universe, and so that they're benchmarking off of each other. So, oh, and why build this roster? The way the game works, it's much easier. Hold on, let me pull up something to show you how this works. And also, while I'm pulling this up, shout out to all the folks in Ezra's channel who were super helpful with suggestions for players to look up. It was super fun. And of course, I appreciate Ezra letting us do that on his time. Yeah, Nolan, so close. It's going to be, hey, who tried a ball? Welcome back. I hope your drive went well. Looks like you made it to wherever you're going safely. Yeah, so Nolan, it's going to be two experimental teams. Usually they're going to be really good teams. Occasionally there might be two really bad teams, but there'll be two experimental teams, and I'm going to start with eight poor squads. So eight like control teams. I could do 28, but the problem is if I have too many scrubs, then the good players are going to be too good because the benchmarking goes in the other direction too, and so I don't want to have it be too bad. To me, the interesting thing is this never came up when I was just bringing all-time greats to the Mets. Don't I want that? No, actually, what I do want is I want to see what happens when you bring these people together in like a major league equivalent setting. So I don't necessarily want them like playing golf on the moon. Like I don't want them to have superpowers. I just want them to be like their true selves together. Because frankly, like if I have an outfield of Ted Williams, Willie Mason, Hank Aaron, I don't need them to have superpowers. I just need them to be themselves. Um, you want to warp the reality. So to me, the fun is when the reality gets warped, and then we have to figure out how to unwarp it to get to like the true Willie Mays or the true Ted Williams. But I agree, the warping is pretty fun. So here I've got this up here, so I think I can share it now. Okay, you want 100 home run hitters, 550 average, and 250 RBI. Okay, so this is what a roster file looks like. If you create this in a text file, you can feed this into OOTP and import a bunch of players at once. Okay, now originally I was going to just go into the majors, move teams around until I had the right team numbers, and then just go in and edit everybody and make them like appropriately below average. But then I realized how time consuming that would be. Instead, if I just build one of these rosters of like borderline major leaguers, I can just import it over and over and it'll be much faster. Now, there'll be a lot more upfront work, but I'll have this roster forever, so I can just keep using it. So it'll be worth the time investment. So you want 500 innings pitched and 40 wins for a starting pitcher? Who's trying to ball? What you want is old Hoss Radburn. If you do you happen to be familiar with old Hoss Radburn? Because he is one of my favorite uh, baseball statistical anomalies. So as a kid, I used to just read the baseball encyclopedia looking for cool stats. That's the kind of nerd I was. So let me pull up this baseball reference for you. Yeah, actually, since I've mentioned my obsession with Old House Radburn, Nolan has shown me some cool stuff about the man. All right. First of all, check out this guy. Check out this stash. Hey, different Jason. Welcome to the chat. Welcome to the stream. It is, and that's one of the pictures Nolan sent me. He sent me a picture of Old House Radburn flipping the bird, and apparently it was the first photographed middle finger. So I didn't know any of this when I was a kid reading the baseball encyclopedia, but I did read this. In 1884, he went 60 and 12, started 73 games, completed 73 games, 678 and two-thirds innings pitched, 441 strikeouts, and had 11 shutouts. Playoff pressure. Welcome to the stream. Welcome to the chat. So it's funny. Who trying to ball? When you were mentioning those stats, I was like, is who trying to ball talking about Old Hoss Radburn? So this is the guy I was talking about. Getting back to what we're doing. We need a roster file like this with all these. I hesitate to call them scrubs because they're still major leaguers. Oh, is my mic cutting out again? Hold on. I'm gonna try to close some stuff here to see if it helps. Okay. Yeah, different Jason. It is unfortunate, but we do have to jump through some hoops to make the game engine work. And you know, I don't begrudge the developers how they set things up. Um, uh, okay. Oh, you mean this real 2023 season of Trying Ball? I would be surprised if anyone has thrown a complete game. I mean, you've got guys getting pulled. What Skeens was throwing a seven-hit no hitter, right? And he gets pulled. So I'd be surprised if anyone's thrown a complete game. Um, yeah. So a different Jason. It is unfortunate that we have to jump through these hoops. Um, you know, when it was explained to me what was happening, I kind of understood what the developers are going for. Like they don't want in a season in a season sim for to get scores like football games, like 35 to 28 or something. But frankly, to me, if that's happening because you're bringing a bunch of Babe Ruths onto a team, or you're doing something fun or weird in the base game, I say like let it happen the way it would happen. Um, I personally don't like the normalization, but the good thing is we can figure out ways around it, and that's what we're working on here. So I appreciate y'all being here. I hope you find it interesting. I'm always open to input. And in fact, let me show you what we were working on in Ezra stream. Let me share this with you guys. Hold on a second here. Okay, I'm going to try to share this sheet with you. Hopefully you can see it. Yeah, here we go. So Ezra is kind enough to let us do this in his chat while he was doing his 1959 Giants save. Yeah, who's trying to ball? I always try to remind myself like the game's always changing and try to roll with it. Um, but like the the lack of starting pitching depth into games is hard to get used to. Um, Oh, Jason, is that right? There have been 16 complete games this year. That's actually shocking to me. I mean, to me, I would have thought the only way anyone would be allowed to go a complete game these days is if they're throwing a Maddox. Wow, 16 pitchers have thrown complete games. I'm very surprised. Yeah, who tried to ball? I'm with you. I thought there would be like single digit to zero complete games this season. And like with Skeens, I get why they're pulling him 7 innings into a no hitter. Um, especially because he's such a young pitcher. But and frankly, if the alternative is like what happened to Fernando Valenzuela, and he's being asked to throw what was it like 18 or 20 complete games as a rookie, I'd rather have it this way so that we're not like destroying young pitchers. But I mean, I think there's got to be some sort of middle ground. But if the pitchers like it that way, then I would leave it up to them. But I'd imagine a lot of them are gamers and want to stay in the game. Yeah, Woods and Pryor, different Jason, completely. Um, in fact, it's funny that you mentioned Woods and Pryor because one of the Sims I'm working on, and it's just taking a while because I'm collecting names over time, is well, there's two related one. One is I want to take all the all-time greatest busts. So either prospects or draft picks that were projected to be really good and turned out not to be. And I want to take their potential rating. So everyone in the game has a potential rating. And so when they were rookies, they probably would have had high potential ratings because they were expected to be these, super elite prospects. So I'm going to take those potential numbers and make them their actual numbers. So all of a sudden, they're going to be everything that the scouts thought they would be. And so it's going to be an entire team of busts who reach their potential. Who trying to ball us also complaining about the strike zone box displayed all the time. Oh wait, so who trying to ball? I'm curious then. Are you in favor or against them going to like a computerized strike zone? Because I think that's the next step with that. Um, so anyway, there's the bus team. Then the other team I'm working on is the what might have been team. So these are all players who, mostly because of injury or some other thing, but mostly injury, um, had potential Hall of Fame careers derailed. Yeah, exactly. A different Jason. So um, the main thing I'm trying to figure out there is how to then play it out. And the thing I've come up with is I think I'm just going to turn recalc off and just let them try to reach their full potential and turn their injuries off. So that's the other the team. And the interesting thing is there are players you can potentially add to either team. And I'm trying to figure out like what guardrails I want to put so that no, this is a bust that I want to put on the bust team, or this is a derailed Hall of Fame career that was derailed due to injury. Dickie Thon, totally. What I didn't realize until the Dickie Thon came out this year is that because I always thought of him as a light hitting, decent fielding shortstop, like his late Astros career shortstop. But man, I found out before he got hit with a pitch in the eye, he was like a legit like offensive shortstop. And unfortunately, getting hit by the pitch just completely changed his offensive trajectory. And so Yeah, he's a prime example of someone where can I go back to the year before he got hurt and just project to his potential instead of recalculating based on that injury. Yeah, and so different Jason. There, I think is it Canigliaro or there's one of the outfielders from the '50s who had like one or two just like amazing years out of the box, and then he also got hit by a pitch, and it completely changed his game. And so those are the two that kind of started the idea. But then I think you have people like Mike Trout. I mean, if you look at Mike Trout, it's shocking how many games he's missed. And he's still great, but like, what could he be without the injuries? Or even someone like Ken Griffey Jr. Like, no, it wasn't Carbo. I want to say it was like Canigliaro or um, it was something like that. But like Ken Griffey Jr., like he ended up having great stats anyway. But you can make an argument that he could have been even greater. And then the question is like, then do I include someone like Ted Williams, who's in the Hall of Fame, but if he didn't lose 5 seasons to military service, like he might be the unquestioned GOAT. And so, but then I feel weird putting like Ted Williams in this. Yeah, World War II and Korea. He flew missions in Korea too. And so I don't. I like Do I? Yeah, yeah. He was a badass. um. So do I put Ted Williams on the same team as a guy who like washed out after his second season because of injury, but was like clearly on the path towards something great? I don't know. Maybe I need like a third team for that or something. Um, but anyway, sorry, I digress. So this is a roster I've been working on, and I got a ton of help today from chat. And here's the thing: this is going to set the lower end of the baseline for every stat. And it would be fun to put that team together. I agree, Jason. And when the time comes, I hope you'll be around and uh and like by all means like jump in and provide names and give me ideas. I'm all for that. Okay, so here's what we're looking to do because I think it's helpful to understand the purpose so that we're like pitching the right names to each other. And then once we get a good name, I'll go into baseball reference, look it up, and we'll find the right season. Um, the way to think about it is a player in OOTP base game can't be great unless there's someone not great to compare them to. And so it was very clear with the Nelly Fox example. When there was only Nelly Fox in the league, he struck out 70 to 90 times. But as soon as we put in players who struck out more, he started acting like Nelly Fox again and striking out 13 or 9 to 20 times for a full season. So the whole idea is we need to put in enough of these players who represent the low end of the ratings enough so that when we bring in a bunch of Babe Ruths, they still act like Babe Ruth. And so this isn't accurate because I don't know what the ratio is. But the idea is if you want to bring in 50 Babe Ruths, if you want them to bat like Babe Ruth, you also then need to bring in a bunch of Mario Mendozas. Because each Mendoza is what makes Babe Ruth act like Babe Ruth. And so we need a whole roster of these players. And there have been some I've rejected because they run too fast or they have too much power. Even though like they hit 170, if they hit a bunch of bombs, that might mess up the goal of creating this lower end baseline. So I'm trying to find players that are just uniformly bad across a bunch of dimensions. Um, I think one thing is that I'm doing one season simulations, so age isn't too much of a factor. So we can rely on like a lot of washed up players who had like really bad seasons towards the end. But in general, I'm just looking for players who just like didn't hit for average, didn't hit for power, didn't have speed, weren't good fielders. Um, I know that's about the list. And so, um, and on the pitching side, right, I need a balance of left-handers and right-handers. I need some starters and some relievers. Um, and so the thing that's been easy to find, it's been easy to find catchers and middle infielders because they can hit like crap, but they'll stick around because they can either, you know, play behind the plate and manage your pitching staff, or they can play defense up the middle. That defense up the middle thing doesn't apply so much these days, but there's a ton of players in the 80s and 90s who were just terrible at the plate, but they had careers because they could play shortstop or second base. So I think where we're missing right now the most is outfielders and corner infielders because those are places where you normally need some pop in your bat to stick around. And so it's been harder to just think off the top of the head like players that were that bad. Like I was lucky to stumble across Evan White from the Mariners, who I found him because I was looking for that contrast to Nellie Fox. So Nellie Fox barely struck out. Evan White struck out like 43% of the time in 2020. And what stood out was all the other players who struck out nearly that much all hit for power, and he did not hit for power. So I'm looking for dudes like that who and who played first base and third base. First base, I think we're actually pretty set now. Okay, so I need to pick a season for Steve Jeltz. I don't know if any of you are Phillies fans, but I followed the Mets who are in the NL East, and man, Steve Jeltz is terrible. Terrible in the field and at bat. So yeah, so here's a bunch of good seasons here. I mean, this is a masterpiece here in 1988. Uh, Started 148 games or played 148 games, 450 plate appearances, hit 187 with a 533 OPS. Like that's what I'm looking for here. All right, so we want his actually we need a season where he played second base, and yeah, 1989 does it. Well, his OPS is up that year. Oh, maybe we'll take this extra terrible Kansas City season. Okay, no one's gonna send me another video. It's not a game where the Phillies came back after the Pirates scored 10 runs in the top of the game. Jeltz hits two homers in the game. Okay, then I can tell you that game was in 1989 because that's the only season he hit home runs. He hit one home run in 84 and he hit four home runs in 89. Okay, and we're back. So I just messed around with Steve Jeltz. I was going to take his terrible Kansas City year. I'm going to take one of his classic Phillies years and move him actually to the backup. Because thanks to Max, we have a good second baseman year we can pull here in the form of Harold Reynolds, who, I mean, generally speaking, was an exceptional major leaguer. But everybody has some terrible seasons. And we're looking at this 1985 season 144, 457 OPS. And with 122 plate appearances, I'm going to call that enough to count. So we're going to take a 1985 Harold Reynolds and put him at second base. Here's here's what I'm looking at here for Harold Reynolds. Right, so solid major leaguer, two-time All-Star, three-time Gold Glover, led the league in stolen bases. Although this is the year. Someone was just telling this story too about in '87. He led the league in 60 stolen bases, and I think apparently like Ricky Henderson called him and said he should be embarrassed that he led the league in 60. I think Ricky was hurt that year or something. But anyway, he's got some black ink on here. He led the league in triples, led the league in stolen bases. Um, he's only a career 258 hitter, but he had a stretch here where he hit 275, 283, 300. But we're going to take this 85 season where he hit, yeah, that's right, Max. Harold Reynolds got a call from Ricky. We'll take this 85 season. So we're gonna put him in here. So for this, the only information that's really important is the player ID in the year, because that's what we're gonna use to import. Sorry, what did I say it was? 1985. Oh, the other important thing we need. Let me show you this here. Okay, we also need the destination. So I send everyone to Franchise Time Machine. This is an abbreviation I'm going to create for whatever team we send them to. So that way I don't um oh, not Harold Reynolds. There we go. And when I do this multiple times, all I'm going to do is like if I want to send them to Oakland, I change the Oakland abbreviation FTM and import and change it back to OAK. And then if I want to bring them to Detroit, change Detroit to FTM, import, change them back to DET, and so on. Um, okay, so what's left is I need a center fielder, a couple of corner infielders for bench depth. Yeah, let's check out Billy Hamilton is a good idea. Let's check out Billy Hamilton. All right, let's see. Oh, you're right. It is Ryan. Uh, Max, thank you. Let me let me change that. Okay. All right. So he's definitely too fast early in his career. And these late careers are pretty small sample sizes, but this 2021 season might work. In my mind, Trent Ball was like combining Shane Langoliers with Ryan Langerhans. That's actually not might exactly be what happened. This White Sox season, 220 average, 620 OPS. This is what we're looking for. And great. If you look over here, he starts with an eight, so he's primary center fielder that year, so perfect. Um, 2021 version of Billy Hamilton. So different Jason. Thank you for that suggestion. Great one. 2021 Billy Hamilton. 2021. Oops. And in 2020, he was at the White Sox. Okay, so would be great to get maybe another third baseman. So I originally wanted to do Butch Hobson, who came up in the chat with Ezra, um, mostly because I thought it was amazing that he had 43 errors at third base in a season in 1978. But his offensive stats were actually still too good, so I couldn't include him. Oh man, Max, I even if the stats say it, I cannot put Junior on this team. I'm sorry. I'm not gonna do it. Um, yeah. So here's the Butch Hobson year I was thinking of. I did want bad, but I can't do that. All right, so here's Butch Hobson, mainly from a fielding perspective. 1978 at third base, he had 43 errors. But when I looked at his batting stats, he's still too good. Like 250 average, 720 OPS. He would be like by far the best hitter on this team. Um, and I have to go to too small of a sample size to get him down below 200. So I'm still looking for a third baseman. Paliarulo, that's a good idea. He might have too much power, but he's worth checking out. He was the Yankees' third baseman when I was just starting to follow baseball. All right, let's see what we can find here. Yeah, see, these early seasons, his batting average sucked, but he was still hitting home runs. But you're right. By the time we get down to his Padres years, for example, here's a great 196 average, 591 OPS. I like this Minnesota season, but I think that we're down to 100 plate appearances, so I think it's this Padres season we'll take. I also don't mind this 89 season is good. It's a split season between the Yankees and Padres, but I like that he hits under 200 for over 400 plate appearances. So let's go with this one. Let's take 89. And his OPS is still under 600, so The one thing well, let's add him, and then I'll voice my concern. And that was so we're basically looking for who try to ball. We want these players to be the bottom end of the rating scale, so that when we bring high rated players, they have like a benchmark to be great. And so we're looking for low batting average, low on base percentage, low slugging, no speed, ideally also like poor fielding. Um, but the thing is, like, they still need to put in like a season, and the reason for that is, surprise. Like, I was surprised when we looked up Evan White's ratings in the book, in the game. As bad as he was, his avoid K was still like 300 and something on the 550 scale, and that's because he's still a major leaguer who's batted avoid K, and the game has to leave room for AAA players who are bad at avoiding strikeouts, AA players, single A players, college players, high school players. And so 300 and something is still crappy avoid K in the majors. And so to avoid kind of, so there's two things I can do wrong with this. I can put in too many of these players, or I can make them too bad. And either one of those will make the Babe Ruth we bring in, instead of hitting 50 home runs, they might end up hitting like 100 home runs, which is its own kind of fun, but not what I'm looking to do. So here's my concern. We need some more multi-position players, because if these teams are going to play against each other, um, they need to be able to back each other up, or we're gonna run into like fatigue issues. So I'm pretty sure Domingo Ramos, Mario Mendoza, they can play several infield spots. Steve Jeltz, and so this I learned from Twins 34. Also, Twins underscore 34. If you're not following him, I highly recommend that you do. He knows a ton about the base game. So if you want to do anything with the base game, I recommend following him. Um, he pointed out to me there's a box you can check that I've forgotten about. That when you import players, you can either import their defense for the year you're importing only, or you can have their oh, thanks Max. Thanks for putting in that shout out for Twins. Yeah. Um, and hey, when it cools down, Max, shout out yourself too, because we're going to be rating into you next, and people should know to follow you. What was I saying? Oh yeah, so you can make it so that it either just pulls your defense from the season you're importing, or it can represent your entire career of defense. And so we're going to go with the latter so that we get more defensive flexibility, but I don't think we have enough. There are too many people like Harold Reynolds and Evan White who only played one position in their career. Max is 2024 Adam Frazier. Let's check him out. Like, if we could find the Jose Okendo who can't hit, that would be ideal. Or maybe Jose Okendo had a terrible year. We can look for that too. Adam Frazier, second baseman and outfielder. Yeah, these batting averages are way too high. All right, let's check out Ryan Rayburn. Outfielder and second baseman. Oh yeah. So if you look over here at the positions, This is what we're looking for, having lots of numbers here so that we get that positional flexibility. Oh, yeah, here's a nice, terrible season. 2012, hit 171 with a 480 OPS. He played second. Well, here's the problem, though. He does give us some outfield flexibility, but only gives us second base. Let me look up like a Jose Okendo. Oh no, wait, but we're gonna pull his career. So let's see. We get some third base. Do we ever get any shortstop? No. We're getting on the right track though. Yo, who's trying to, you can give me plenty of bad tigers? Bring it, bring it. So here's a Jose Okendo. He's who I always think of as like the archetype utility player. All right, like here's the season. I mean, it was a bit of a novelty. Yeah, Max, shouting out Max LP80. We're gonna rate into him. He streams super late night. Different Jason. Okay, let me check Tim Foley next. I think of him as maybe being too good at the bat, but let's check him out. So Jose Okendo, he played every position this season, and it was a bit of a, they did it on purpose, but across his career, you can see he plays multiple positions. This 205 season is close, but it's only 89 plate appearances, so we're not going to pull that. So let's check out Tim Foley, and then Who Trying to Ball's given us a couple names we'll check out. Tim Foley. This is great though. I was hoping that other people would be as interested as I am in like the other end of baseball, which is like I think we always think about like the Hank Aaron's and the Willie Mayeses. I don't think we spend enough time thinking about like you know I don't know the scrubs. I hesitate to use that term though because they're still way better baseball players than I would ever be, but they are the long tail of Major League Baseball. So Tim Foley, if we do career mode for defense, we will get all the infield spots, so I like that. But do we get a bad enough of a season? I don't think we do. This 170 this 221 season is pretty bad. Okay, I like this. All right, thanks a different Jason. We'll take a 77 Foley. All right, let's do that. 1977, Tim Foley, and oh, Ezra would be pleased that we have another giant on the team. All right, different Jason. Way to go out in a W, by the way. You throw out Tim Foley up there, and then you have a walk off. Nice job. Appreciate it. Hope to see you again next time. All right. Oh, who tried? Well, hold on. I'm still back at your Don Kelly. So let's look up Don Kelly. I'm trying to catch up to you here. Don Kelly. Oh, I like it. Third baseman, first baseman. We need some corner infield here. Oh yeah, these look nice. Nice and bad. I mean, if we go small sample size ish, it's still 127 plate appearances. 186 average, 523 OPS. All right, Don Kelly, you're on the squad. Well, we need to figure out where to put you. Okay, so he gives us third base, first base. a little second base, all the outfield. Hmm. All right, here's what we're gonna do. I'm gonna I'm gonna send Paliarulo to the reserve. We're gonna keep him around because I do like his profile, but we may have to go to Don Kelly because of the positional flexibility here. And what was it? It was 2012 that we liked. We're trying to ball. Good one there with Don Kelly. I know you threw a couple more at me too, so we're gonna check those out next. Um, who else do we have? Um, Shane Halter. Okay, Max, you got Dylan Moore. We'll check him out after we run through these Tigers here. Shortstop, third base, second base. I like that. I actually think Shane Halter. I think he had a good iron card last year. Um, oh, look at this! I did not realize he had a cup of coffee with the Mets. Huh? You know, I hate to tell you this, who's trying to ball, but he might be too good. I'm gonna keep him on the back burner, but I think he might be too good for this squad. The bar is very high, or actually, the bar is very low for this team. All right, let's do your Andrew Romine, and then we'll go to Max has a couple. Shortstop, third base, second base. I'm already liking that. Hey, who's trying ball? I'll let you work your noodle, but this is a family show, man. I knew what you meant, dude. I was just giving you a hard time. Okay, now and Max will like this. I might take his Seattle season. And also, how do I say his name? Let's see. Romine. Andrew Romine. 210, 504 OPS. Yeah, I'm trying to stay above 100 plate appearances, which he does. And I really dig the positional flexibility here. So let's grab him for now. Let's see, where are we going to put this dude, though? Oh, are you, Max, are you retracting your pick for being, now that you know what's too good? Um, yeah, let's look at more. If he has six positions, he's worth looking at. Okay, let's do this. I want to keep his name in the mix, so we're going to put him here for now. And it's 2018. It was with Seattle. So what might end up happening is we might do an import, run the lineups, and realize like we need this, and then that'll help us figure out what we need. Okay, so Dylan Moore. Max's suggestion is Dylan Moore. Outfield, second baseman, shortstop. I like it. Career batting average 209. Like that. Oh, he's still active. Oh, he must have done one of those seasons where he did every position as a novelty because he's got. Oh no, he doesn't have catcher, so he must have just come in to pitch mop up. Let's see. Well, no, this is a solid look. Anytime you're over 300 plate appearances and under 200 batting average, like you're gonna get a look. And look, at 111 strikeouts and only 12 home runs, that's pretty good too. I mean, and by that I mean bad. Okay, and the positional flexibility. Okay, this guy's getting on the list. What I'm going to have to do is figure out how to shoehorn them all in. I think what's going to end up happening is, as much as I think, like, to me, Domingo Ramos and Mario Mendoza are like the poster children for who should be on this team, but they may not play enough positions. Or even Steve Jeltz, who's just terrible, but he may have to get cut. All right, so oh, sorry, I don't have Dylan Moore's name copied yet. And we're going to grab his 2021 season. And then Who Tried a Ball saying Will Rhymes. Okay, I think this might be the last one. I think we have what we need. We can start building this. We can start importing this roster now. Uh-oh, career 266 average. This guy might be too good. You know what? Maybe it's just that the Tiger standards are too good. I mean, even Andrew Romine, we had to go to his Seattle season to get bad enough. I think that the Tigers might just be too good for this team, man. Okay. Oh, the other thing we're looking for is we need one more outfielder. Who is a bad outfielder? I'm gonna see if I search. What happens if I search worst outfielder? I'm doing this on my phone. Scott Livingston? I actually remember that name. Was he a left-handed batter? Oh, we're back. We're back. If he's a left-handed, if he's a left-handed batter, I remember this dude. Bats left. Yep. He played during the era I was playing Stratomatic. That's why I remember him. Okay, he has a stretch of hitting 100, but I don't think he has enough at bats. Um, I mean, we'd have to go all the way to this 1998 season. I also thought he was a third baseman. Oh, third base, pinch hitter, first baseman. Okay. I think we're set on the infield. So I'm trying to think of like all the terrible Stratomatic outfielders, but now I can't think of a name. Yeah, when I search worst outfielders in Major League history, it ends up showing me the worst fielders. Oh, who tried to ball? You're talking about Stratomatic? Your uncle's friend had to tell you about Stratomatic? Yeah, I played Stratomatic, man. It was it was like cards and dice. So it's OOTP, but cards and dice, and you only got one season of cards. And so I've always wanted to do this thing I'm doing now in OOTP that I stream where I bring players from across history. There was no way to do that in Stratomatic because you're basically buying one season at a time. And we would have card ripping parties because when you got them in the mail, it was big sheets that had like 16 or 20 cards per sheet. And they're all perforated, so you have to like bend them back and forth so you don't tear them and then like rip them apart. And so like the first thing we would do when we got the cards is have a sleepover, because we were like kids. We would have sleepovers and like tear the cards and do our draft. Let's see. Yeah, most of these lists of worst worst players are infielders, mostly middle infielders. What about like negative war? What if I search negative war? Yeah, the good old days. Hmm. There's some negative war player articles, but they're all like for the season the article's from. Let's try baseball reference war season. And then can I flip it? Can I flip it to show? Yeah, these are still positive though. I want like the negative wars. Yeah, because it's still giving me war leaders. What if I do baseball reference lowest war in a season? Oh, here we go. Who's the lowest war in MLB season? We're looking for outfielders right now who trying to ball. Oh, Jim Levy had a negative four WAR. When was that? Who? Let's search Lev Jim Levy. Oh shit. Kareem Garcia. Okay, I'll check him out next. This guy's a Oh, he's a shortstop. Let's check out this historic negative. Let's see. Negative for WAR is in 1933. What did he do in 1933? He hit 195 with a 477 OPS. I mean, it's bad, but I thought it'd be a lot worse. Kareem Garcia. Long career. Oh no, it just looks long because he has these like multi-team seasons in there. 222, 641. I mean, for this team, 641 is kind of a high OPS. Oh, I forgot that he played for the Mets. So he had this split season with the Mets and the Orioles. 229, 60, 653 OPS. That might still be too high. We're gonna take note of this though, because that's close. That's close. It's 2004. From Garcia, and that was Mets Baltimore. Not surprisingly, it was the last year before the end of his career. All right, Jacoby Jones, 212 career average. That's promising. Oh, Cameron Maben, that's a good one. Let's check him out next. We might come back to Jacoby Jones, but I think he's too good for most of these seasons. I mean, this 207 average season I like, except his OPS is a bit high for this team. And the 13 steals will definitely mess things up because he'll be too fast. Cameron Maben. I've actually grabbed him in drafts a few times, Cameron Maben, mostly for the center field ability. This is a little too small. I'm trying to stay above 100 plate appearances. Yeah, Nolan, I like the direction here, but he might be too good. And the seasons where he's bad, his speed is too high, I think. Wendell McGee. I'm actually wondering, like, is there like a terrible Jose Canseco season near the end of his career or something? Wendell McGee. Ooh, this is pretty tasty here. 1997, he hits 200 even, 515 OPS. If we do the career import of his defense, he'll have left, center, and right. And there's no dangerous speed here. He stole one base and got caught 4 times. I think we might have a winner here. Wendell McGee. Wendell McGee's 1997 season. Who tried him all? Where'd you come up with the? Oh, because he went to the Tigers later. All right, Wendell McGee is going to fill this last outfield spot for us for now. Okay, we have enough to do a roster pull tonight, I think. Okay, so I just entered Wendell McGee's info. So we're going to start with this for now. We're going to do a test run here. This is all the information we need. So I'm going to copy that. I'm going to create a new notebook file. So where's my notebook? So you guys can see what I'm doing here. Or notepad, sorry. Okay, so I'm going to create a new one of these and paste this in. Okay, I'm already seeing there's a mistake I made here. Okay, now this part's a little bit of a pain in the butt, but I have to replace all these spaces with commas. Oh, 2011 Adam Dunn. Okay, let me go take a look at him after I do this. It'd be especially fun to add him to the team because he's such a bronze tournament hero in Perfect Team. So you can't see it on the screen right now, but trust me, I'm going down the list, adding commas instead of spaces. And then I have to do it here too. So here's what's going to happen. You guys are going to be like living your lives, and you're going to stumble upon some stat line that's just terrible. And you're going to think about this stream and this project, and I'm gonna haunt your lives. No one realize we're living to the stereotype of men who just yell out random player names. All right, I'm gonna save this as Mendoza All Stars Volume One. Okay, I do need to see this 2011 Adam Dunn just because he's um such a bronze level um icon this season. 2011, you say? Adam Dunn, you say? All right, let's see what we got here. Oh my goodness. 159, 569 OPS. Wow, that is terrible. If he had a little more positional flexibility, I would say that's a gimme. All right, you know what? I'm going to add him to the bottom of that list just so we don't lose track of this season. We do get first base and outfield from him. That's true. Man, that is a terrible year. Man. So I'm just adding him to the bottom of this list here. Who was he with that year? Oh, the White Sox. Okay, so let's do an import here and let's see. Let's just drop him. We'll drop him into the 2023 Oakland A's because that's what we've been doing, and let's just see what they do in a major league season. I know this isn't why we built this team, but this is I mean, they should play like crap, and if they don't, then we have a problem. So um, this is just like a way and also to make sure the roster works. That I didn't make any mistakes building the roster. Okay, so create a new game, and I apologize when the game starts to think really hard. Um, my audio may cut out. So here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna start closing like my BREF window. I'm gonna try to shut down some stuff, and hopefully you'll still be able to hear me. Let me close Discord. I mean, I have very few things open right now, other than OBS and the game. So it's just a testament to how bad my laptop is, I guess. Okay, so we're not gonna do challenge mode. Oh, who's trying to ball? You got so many for me. Okay, we are. No, no, you can stop for now. We're gonna test out this roster and see how it does. You know what? I'm gonna say pause because I do like all the names you're giving us. I'm gonna say pause, not stop. We won't do minors. You're ready, just let you know. You're ready with your scrubs. This is gonna be the All Mendoza team test. One. Okay. All right. If I'm ever gonna lose you guys, it's gonna be in the next few steps here as the save gets created. I have to figure out how to do like these. I think you can like force the ads to start and like snooze them and stuff. Like this would be a great time to do an ad because then we get it out of the way while the game is thinking. I gotta learn how to Twitch better. I appreciate y'all bearing with me. Okay, we're gonna take over the athletics. Nolan, wasn't it you who first suggested the athletics that we take them over because they're leaving anyway? All right, so we're gonna do all the things we need to do here. We're gonna turn off injuries because we're not bringing in um, a reserve, and I'm going to turn off the importance of popular in the All-Star vote. I think this will not matter at all for this team, but I'm going to do it anyway, just to be consistent. Now, this is just to test out the roster. I think in the next stream, what we do is create that league where it's this team 8 times and then two empty slots in the American League and two empty teams on the National League. That'll be the experimental team. Actually, what will be interesting is when this team plays against itself, um, because before we bring in the experimental team, it should treat these like average players instead of terrible players. Backslash commercial, and then the amount of time in seconds is how to run an ad. Otherwise, you can turn them off completely. Okay. Yeah, and you were the ace guy. That thank you, Noel. That was a great suggestion. I've been using it ever since because I think logically it makes so much sense. All right, so we're going to edit the league structure. The main thing here is we just need to change this abbreviation from OAK to FTM, and that's because in the notepad file, I made the destination FTM. Now, the reason I do that is because if we had at the last minute said, okay, let's just take over the Mets, I would just change the Mets to the FTM. If I hadn't, and this had said, um, if this had said OAK, I couldn't make that last minute change. So we're going to change it here to FTM. While we're at it, I'm just going to change this to Franchise Time Machine All Mendoza Team. Okay, and then to avoid confusion, I'm just going to change the logo too. If you haven't done this, it's super fun. You just save your logos to this within the Park Baseball data logos nicknames, and then you just grab them when you're ready. You see it changed it on the ball cap here. And when we go back to the game, it'll change it throughout the game. Right, it's up here now too. Right, see it's over here now too. Okay. Um, I have a checklist to make sure I do everything right. Historic transactions were off when we started this. Injuries I just turned off. All-star popularity. Okay. We just have a few housekeeping things for do not disturb our sim while not touching our lineups. And then I just gotta get the mailbox changed here. Oh, hey, you know what? This will be worth the wait. Bear with me for a second. Um, Let me see. I asked for giveaway packs. I doubt they will have responded because they're still busy with All-Star Game stuff, but now I think they're just like, getting back on normal schedules. Um, I might be able to like make a wager today and give you guys some giveaway packs. Let me see. Nope, sorry y'all. There's still radio silence since the since before the All-Star game. So, hopefully they get back to me soon. Yeah, Max is waiting to hear back if he's going to become an affiliate. Um, so yeah, I hope to be able to give you packs for things like let's guess how many wins this team will get. Start thinking about that because I am going to ask you. I can't give you packs, but I think we should still do some friendly guessing and wagering here. So let's clear our rosters. Just going to delete everybody. Okay. 30 wins from Nolan. I, oh man. I overestimated so much on the 50-year-olds and the 15-year-olds. I mean, this team is distinctly worse than the 62 Mets, I think. I'm going 25. I'm going 25. Um, oh, I spaced out. What was I doing? Oh yeah, I was going to show you guys in case anyone wants to do this. I have but are they worse than the Cleveland Spiders? That is a good question. I don't know that they are. We built our roster, right? That's that notepad file. We started the season. We're going to import and make some edits. I don't think we need to make edits this time. Last year, Doc played 62 Mets and 0-3 Tigers, and the Tigers won. Congratulations, you tried to ball. You finally found a team that the Tigers can beat. So if anyone wants to do this stuff, you can screenshot this, and then this is probably the more important one. This is how to actually do the import. But I'll show you how to do that right now. Okay, so we go into the free agent pool. That's where all this importing and player creation happens. All right, under actions here, you can create players, import players. We're gonna import players. Oh, cool. Oh, Max, that's awesome. You put up a prediction thing for us. That's awesome. Oh, why isn't it letting me bet channel points? Wait, why don't I have any channel points? It's my channel. Shouldn't I have some channel points? Okay, sorry. Historical database. And then at the top here is where you can type in individual players, but then you have to do one import at a time. But we're going to click here to import this file, and I called it Mendoza All Stars. Oh, now here's the thing. It's going to nerf players with fewer than this many at bats. I'm going to lower this to 100. Well, let's lower it to 75. And it's going to weaken players with that's fine with 20 with 50. Okay. And oh, this is the other important thing. Fielding ratings based on not imported season, but entire career. Pitching stamina based on imported season. So that one change is very important, so that we get that positional flexibility for as much as we can. All right. Now we're going to import. I might lose audio here, so I apologize. All right, we're back from the ad break. So Max, I had these made in case I ever do almost an entire game play by play on mute. All right, so here's our first check, right? It says we imported 26 players and we had a 26-man roster, so that's good. So let's go to our roster. All right, now the other check we do is make sure no one's 70 years old, because that's the other thing that's happened. Oh, you know what? Now that we're in the game, we can see some of these players might be too good. So I'm going to make note of these names. Let me make sure scouting is off, because it could be that just this is bad scouting. So this is when you play the base game, you can either have scouting on, in which case like there's some built-in uncertainty to scouting. You can adjust the level of uncertainty. Okay, Max. Once we do this sim, I'm going to raid over to you. So do whatever you need to do to get ready on your end. But you can see it's already unchecked. So it's not using the scouting system, which means every evaluation of a player you see is going to be 100% accurate according to the game. So we don't have that problem. But in the notepad, I'm just going to create a new page here. And I'm going to make note of possibly too good. Um, okay, so scouting's off. So let's go back to the roster. Okay. So these are the folks that might be too good. Anyone who's 2.5 stars. So Bobby Ayala. I bet Max was not expecting to hear that this Bobby Ayala might be too good. The Billy Hamilton. Who trying to ball? Way to get that lineup in time, man. I might bump into you guys. I've got two teams in this soiree. I've got two licenses, so I enter two teams into every tournament I like. Marvelous Marv Throneberry, original Met. And Matt Young. He was one of the first pitchers suggested. He might actually be too good. Ooh, Max, A-Dub in round one. That's a tough matchup. Okay, we're gonna run with it, but we're gonna check the stats and make sure these players aren't too good. All right, so let's. Oh, you know what we should do? We should set the strategy based on the worst manager we can think of. Who is the worst manager we can think of? Hmm. Is Brad Ausmus in the game here? Let's see. No, he's not in here. I mean, I always thought Earl Weaver's managing was kind of lazy. Or in honor of who trying to ball, we can make it Sparky Anderson. I just want to have something other than neutral sliders. What do you think? Who tried to ball? How would Sparky handle this crew? Oh, Lou Pinella. That's a good call. I like that. He would like to fight everyone. Let's do Lou Pinella. Let's see what his sliders look like. Oh, slow hook on the starting pitcher, slow hook on the relievers. He's gonna leave them in to die. But look at this. No left-right matchups. Huh. This does nothing in the field. No pitching around, no walk, no intentional walks, no infield in, no corners in, no shifts. At least he does some outfield shifting. If you give him this team, he might bury this team alive. All right, we're gonna run with it. All right, let's see. Batting ratings. Oh, sorry, I want pitching ratings. This is the pitching staff. All right, I'm going right back to the pitching ratings because, like, I saw some 70s up there. What the heck was going on with that? Oh, Bronson Roy had 70 control. You got some control artists here. Although when I think it was Max suggested Carlos Silva, I made the point that Carlos Silva is the example of the difference between control and command. He would throw everything in the zone, but it doesn't mean he actually got people out. And then we got some blue here on the lineup. So Billy Hamilton has high gap. That might be why he was highly rated. And then we've got a bunch of guys with some good eye. All right, well, let's see what happens. All right, we're gonna ask the bench coach to give us, or we're gonna ask um Sweet Lou to give us the pitching staff. Ooh, Jose Lima in the starting rotation. Some batting practice coming. And then ooh, Bobby Ayala's the closer. Interesting. All right, give us our lineups. Marv Throneberry hitting cleanup, the original Met. This is the year before he was original Met, and he was pretty terrible. So Max is dying laughing that Ayala is the closer. All right, I think we're ready to go. All right, now this is the time it's going to take the most time. Was when we start, we uh, sim the first day. It's going to do all the season startup stuff. So I may lose audio again. I kind of want to watch highlights for the first game just to see like either what a train wreck it is or I don't know what's going to happen. So let's do highlights for the first game. And so for those of you who have never done this, if you've watched streamers do game replays, like Max is going to do, we're going to watch Max do some Silver Soiree game replays. You can do it yourself too. You just hide scores and then you play the game, right? It hides everything so you don't know what's going to happen. And then you can either watch replay, which is play by play, or we're going to do highlight reel, which is it's going to take you to like when there's something interesting happening to the game, according to the AI. But you know how the AI is. I had these made too. AI gonna AI. All right. Well, it skipped us to the bottom of the second, so we somehow held the Angels scoreless for the first two innings. And Marv Throneberry is leading off, facing Shohei. Oh my goodness, is that gone? Deep in a dead center field. Is that upper deck? Marv Throneberry. Max, you're already down one game, despite your Foley homering twice. Okay, I may have made a bad decision here with Throneberry because he was one of the first players I added, and so he. Oh, I shut down my BREF. Okay, we'll check it out after the game. I may have had too high of a bar. Get Nigel Thornberry out there instead. Okay, we are okay. Well, that was it. So that was the only damage we did. We're up to the Angels in the top of the third, and that's going to be a bomb to right field off of Matt Young. Matt Young not disappointing despite the 2.5 star rating. Okay, now right after that home run, it's now 2 outs, 3-2 count, and Matt Young's got 2 runners on base. Oh, and he gets some looking, gets out of the jam. All right, Thornberry up again with 2 runners on. No outs, 3-2 count. Oh, he goes down swinging that time. All right, 1 out now for Evan White. And he goes down swinging. That's not a surprise. He strikes out almost half the time he goes to bat. And terrible Steve Jolts. Oh, he's going to get a base hit. He really shut me up on that one. He might drive in a run. Wow. He showed me who's terrible. RBI for Steve Jolts. All right, so they limit the damage to 1, though. So our Mendoza All Stars are up 2-1, facing Mike Trout. And that's through the infield. First baseman just kind of waved at that one. And that brings up Hunter Renfroe. That's hit to left field. Easy fly ball. 1 out now for ground ball to third. And are we going to turn 2? And we are out of the jam. Zeros across the board into the top of the 8th. Steve Avery's in the game. This is the Boston Red Sox terrible Steve Avery. Base hit up the middle of the center field. Brandon Drury up now. That's hit to right field. It's going to hang up there for a flyout. Brings up Otani, who draws a walk. First and second now for Avery against Mike Trout. Gets him swinging. Hunter Renfroe now up. Hits it to left field. That is going to drop. Might score a runner. Runner's coming home. Throw is not in time. Ties it up. They're still up with 2 outs. 3-1 count. Draws the walk. Bases loaded now. Steve Avery facing Taylor Ward. Gets him looking. Ends the inning. All right. Mendoza All-Stars up now. Billy Hamilton. 1 out. 0-2 count. Drives it in the right field. It's into the corner. That's going to be extra bases. He's in standing to second base. All right. Oh, Thornberry somehow got on too. That brings up Evan White. 2 on, 1 out. 0-2 count. And he goes down swinging. Steve Jeltz, 3-2 count. And he goes down swinging. All right. Angels keep the game tied going to the top of the ninth. Lots of strikeouts so far. Oh, here he is. Bobby Ayala in. Draws the walk. 1 runner on, 1 out. 1-2 count. Hit to left field. That'll be a fly out. Brandon Drury now with 2 outs. 2-2 count. Hit this left side of the infield. Shortstop picks it up. Runs to second. Beats the runner for the out. All right, Bob Uecker leading off the bottom of the ninth. 3-2 count. Ground ball to the pitcher. Euchre's retired. We jump ahead to 2 outs now. 2-2 count for Tim Foley. And he goes down swinging. I don't know how we're taking this to extra innings. This is a terrible team. And Otani pops out. Ayala's able to get the dangerous Otani to pop out. Brings up Mike Trout. Back up through the middle, base hit for Mike Trout. Fishboy rounds first, and he's going to stay there with a single. Hunter Renfroe up. We've got Carlos Silva now in the game. High control, low stuff. Hammered to short, but either a turn and double play. What is going on here? Either our team is surprisingly good or the Angels are just that bad. Bottom of the 10th now. Hit the left field. Ooh, sliding catch by the left fielder. Who is that? Taylor Ward. Nice play. Yeah, both sides came to play who trying to ball. All right, Billy Hamilton now, 2 outs, 2-2 count. Goes down swinging. All right, Silva's still on for the top of the 11th. Fly ball to right field. Out number 1. Taylor Ward now up. 1 out, 2-1 count. Ooh, hit hard to center field. That is gone. Top of the 11th, the Angels pull ahead. But that's the limit of the damage, so it's just a 1-run game going to the bottom of the 11th. Mark Thornberry leading things off. Original Met. Oh my goodness! He is going to tie it up. He ties it up in the bottom of the 11th. That might be my favorite thing in baseball, when a team scores in extra innings and then the other team ties it up in extra innings. I think that's awesome. All right, Evan White now, tie score. No outs, 2-2 count. He hits at the left field, and that's going to, oh, does not drop in. Taylor Ward makes another fantastic play. Yeah, who's trying ball? I love baseball so much. I love fake baseball. I'm getting excited how good our crappy team is in our fake baseball game. Hit hard to third, but retired. Hit to first base. That's gonna be unassisted out in the top of the 12th. 2 outs now for Otani. Dangerous hitter. Drive to right field. That's gonna drop in for a base hit. The game's broken. Mike Trout now with a runner on. He draws the walk. That Silva giving up a walk, that is unusual. Oh my goodness, who's trying to ball? You are kidding me. You love baseball so much, you're coaching your ex girlfriend's kids' little league. Driven to left field. That's a base hit. Drops in. Runner is rounding third, coming home. Throw home is not in time. Angels take the lead again. But that's the extent of it. So the Mendoza All Stars have a chance. Down 4-3 again, or down by 1 run again, this time bottom of the 12th. Don Kelly hits at the left field, and the Detroit Tiger is retired. Brings up Tim Foley. Draws the walk. Who's trying to ball? How much of that is like you love baseball, and how is there any element of like potentially getting back together, or is that just over and you're really just there for the ball? And you don't have to answer if that's too personal. All right, Ryan Langerhans down looking. The baseball. Gotcha. All right, Quentin McCracken, the last hope here to extend the game. 1-0 count. He hits it to the right side of the infield and it's picked up for the out. And frankly, the Angels should be embarrassed that it was that close, given how terrible this team is. All right, so extra innings. I'm curious now. Does anyone want to change their guess? I mean, I'm now thinking 25 might be too low. It's a small sample size. It's just one game, but Man, that was interesting. All right, let's go ahead and sim a month. Nah, no one's keeping 30. Maxing with 50. I got my 25. I think I'm gonna stick with it. All right. Oh, yeah. So that was March 30th. So the month was just one game. So we're gonna go ahead and do the next month. And for those of you who are newer to this, if you look on the sides, you can see if we have any teams leading the league anything during the sim. Okay, we are 8-21. Still somehow ahead of the Kansas City Royals. But we're already 11 and a half games out, 1 month into the season. Who trying to ball guessing 45? No one's saying, well, I'm way off. All right, let's do another month. We're stuck at 8 wins, 9 wins, 10 wins. Oh, a little bit of win streak there, 11, 12. So normally, as these months go by, because the Royals suck, normally as these tick by each month, we would get a bunch of achievements. But because our team sucks, we're not even getting any achievements. All right, let's go ahead and go to the announcement of the All Star team. Um, Unless they force an All Star team, a player per team, we're not going to have anyone in the All Star game. 15 and 74. Oh, achievements. Billy Hamilton had a 7 game extra base hit streak, and Billy Hamilton was player of the week. Nice. All right, so let's check our mail for the All Star announcements. AL fan voting results. I'm not expecting us to have anyone in here. Yep, and we don't have anybody. All right. Let's see. Oh, I normally copy this stuff. So let me copy this down and paste it into that notepad file. And then the all-star, and these are the rosters. So this includes the people, not just the first place vote getters in each position. Okay. They must have a rule that they have to take one player per team. Our all-star is Ken Cloud. He's 1-1 with a 4.35 ERA and a 1.57 whip. That's actually like pretty respectable. All right, so Ken Cloud's an all-star. Now the game is definitely broken. All right, so now we should be able to see some all-star festivities. Let's watch the home run challenge. Do we have anyone in here? No, we don't. So we're just going to sim the whole thing. If you guys have never simmed the season, then you might know this. Like, not know this, but there's a whole all-star thing here where you have a home run challenge, which Shohei wins, and then there's the all-star game. For the all-star game. And I just want to, we're not going to hide scores to do housing. I just want to check the box score to see if Ken Cloud gets in the game. Well, the NL won 9-3, so, and gave up 6 in the eighth. So Ken Cloud might have gotten in the game. Let's see. Ken Cloud, oh, I was just kidding, but it's true. He pitched 1/3 of an inning, gave up 3 earned runs. Now, look, Bautista got credited with the blown save, but I bet a lot of those runs were driven in by players Ken Cloud let hit. Actually, we can see. Let's go to the game log. Why would you put him in? Okay, so that's the sixth inning. So let's look at the game log for the sixth inning. I bet Bautista's paying the price for Ken Cloud letting those runs get driven in. Where am I looking here? Top of the sixth. Wait, was it the seventh inning? When did all that damage happen? Oh, here it is. Okay, here it is. It's the eighth, top of the eighth. Okay, Bautista starting the inning, and Matt Olson walks. Tatis Jr. strikes out swinging. Okay, so Ken Cloud comes in with one runner on base. That's charged to Bautista. So Bautista gave up some runs. So he must have given up some runs in the previous inning too. Let's see. Okay, Bautista started the seventh inning, gave up a walk, got an out, gave up a two-run home run. Okay, so Bautista's already on the hook for two runs. So I don't feel as bad for him suffering at the hands of Ken Cloud. Okay, so he gives up a walk, gets a strikeout. Ken Cloud comes in. Um, okay, to face. Okay, there's a string of righties coming up, so that kind of makes sense. And Bautista had already gotten rocked. Okay, so runner on first when he comes in, and one out, and he gets a second out. So now there's two outs. Everything now that happens is with two outs. Ken Cloud gives up a double, second and third. He gives up another double, gives up a walk, gives up a single, gives up a walk, and then a double. Okay, yeah, he got rocked. Hey, morning, twins. This hydrocona's been knocking me out. I've been having some of the best sleep I've had in the past 5 years. Hey, I know you've been looking for some sleep, so I'm glad at least that's working out for you, man. So, twins, the chat helped me build this lineup of basically terrible major leaguers to act as the baseline for all of our simulations, so that we don't have that normalization issue. So we're just testing out the roster in 2023, taking place of the A's. All right, let's go back to the standings screen, and we're going to do another month. The good thing is, it looks like it will be a good baseline because this team is terrible. All right, 21 and 86, 47 games behind. All right, let's go to the roster expansion date. And we are going to lose 100 games. 27 and 100 is what I saw. Holy cow, Billy Hamilton, 22 consecutive stolen base rate. Okay, Billy Hamilton is probably too fast for this team, so we are going to have to take him off the team, which means it's going to be worse. Uh, Tim Foley, six consecutive hit streak. That's six hits in a row, not 6 games of the hit in a row, 6 hits in a row. That's pretty cool. Oh, Max, you survived round one, but who trying to ball is out? All my teams are through. Okay, thanks for the updates. We're going to wrap this up soon, Max, so we can go to your play-by-play coverage of that. All right, 31 and 112. Oh, you haven't started yet. Okay. Ooh, 31 game on base streak by Ryan Langerhans. Okay, we have one more game to sim. Let's see where we are in the wild card standings. We're 51 games out of the wild card. Let's see if that goes to 52 or 51 and a half. 51 games out of the wild card. Okay, so at this point, let's check out our stats real quick. Here are our pitching stats. So this is in a 2023 major league environment. Yeah, you got your channel prediction right. Whoa, look at this. We have 3 20 game losers and almost had four. Wow. All right, screenshotting this. These whips are actually not that out of control. We've got two starters with less than 1.4 whip and two starters less than 1.5 whip. That's not terrible. I mean, it's bad, but it's not terrible. So, man, Avery 2 and 12 out of the pen. Uh, Bobby Ayala somehow got 23 saves and a 1.16 whip. This these pitching stats are not as terrible as I thought. All right, let's take a look at the batting stats now. Lies, Max says. All right, batting stats. I want to expand the window so I can see all the stats at once, but then I'm worried it's going to crash the game. So I'm going to just try to split the difference here. All right, let's sort by OPS. All right, our max OPS was 655, and our lowest OPS was 118. Small sample size though. Mario Mendoza um, hit 059 in only 17 plate appearances. Twin says right after Drive for the Pen was released that you jumped on instantly had a stream. Only meant to go 2 hours when all of a sudden it was 3:45 and 30 minutes late to the main channel. All right, let's see if there's anything interesting here. Marv Thornberry had 24 bombs, and he was one of the 2.5 star players, so he might be too good for this team. Evan White with 19 home runs, still only hit 203 and had a 608 OPS. Harold Reynolds, who hit 144 in real life, ends up hitting 190, so overperformed there. And everyone else, like predictably under 200. Our team batting average has got to be under 200. Look at this. Our batting leader was 227, Tim Foley. And did anyone have a positive WAR? Oh, we did. Ryan Langerhans had a .7 WAR. Steve Jeltz, who was just so bad in real life, had a .3 WAR. Oh, and look, a lot of that came from the stolen bases. I bet the AI loves stolen bases. So these three might be too fast. Billy Hamilton for sure might be too good for this team, surprisingly. Billy Hamilton is exactly zero. Let me see. Let's see what you're talking about here. Oh yeah, his WAR is exactly zero. There's my control. Yeah, no, he's too good. He's too fast. Even Quentin McCracken might be too fast. 21 steals and 5 caught stealing. All right, these stats are going to be very helpful. And everyone in the chat has been super helpful. Hey Max, I'm going to start winding down. Do you want to start up your stream soon? Hey, who trying to ball? Yeah, thanks for joining today, and thanks for all of your participation in the chat. All your scrubby Detroit Tigers were very helpful. And thanks for following Max. And the next time I stream, I'll make some adjustments to this team. And then we're going to make 8 versions of this team in the test universe. And then we're going to create 2 test. And maybe you know what I want to do? I want to test it with the Cornejos and Foxes experiment because we know that went wrong and why. And I'm hoping that this will fix it. So we'll check that out. Okay, thanks, Max. All right, Max is started up, so we're just going to do a quick wrap up here. Um, I'm gonna screenshot the postseason awards after the fact, because we didn't win anything. So we'll just do the last sim and we'll get our game score. I want to predict a game score of like under 100. Oh, you know what? It won't give me the game score until the postseason's over. So sorry, Max. I'm going to run through the postseason real quick. All right. So the Astros and the Padres win their wild card games. Too bad half the team is Mariners. Next round, the Rays advance, the Twins advance. Hey, Twins 34, Twins advance. Dodgers advance, and the Cubs beat the Braves 3 games to 2. All right, Twins. The Twins are in the World Series. Twins 34, and the Cubs advance. Twins Cubs World Series. Oh my goodness! The Twins win the World Series. They sweep the Cubs. The Twins sweep the Cubs, and our game score. I mean, I did predict it was under 100, but our game score is a 1. By the way, 1 is also the same game score it gave us when we played the 50-year-olds and we won 7 games. So the scale is whack. There's no way a 36-win team gets the same game score as a 7-win team. Come on, OOTP. That's not right. Oh, hey Max, do we have to do anything? Do we have to do anything for the wagers? Like, do you have to pay them out somehow? Like, put in the result? Okay, I think Max is going to do the results of the wagers. Nolan's got to get paid. Do we get to see the overall results? Oh, everyone bet 40 and below. That's amazing. Max, thanks for setting that up. I think next time we need to chop it up a bit more 0 to 10, 11 to 20. Although, hey, we almost hit 40. 36 and 126 is respectable. Okay, so we got our game score. I'm going to save this game. Okay, 1 more minute till the ads are over. So let's close this out here. And I'll set up the raid. Well, thanks you all for joining me. I appreciate it. Ezra Denny, thank you for the raid, and for those of you who stuck around afterwards, I appreciate your time and your help in setting up that roster. I hope you guys had as much fun as I did. I had a blast both putting the roster together, looking up those terrible players, and watching them play a major league season. That was that was my idea of fun. All right, so we're gonna send you into Max Selfie 80. He's gonna be doing play-by-play on Silver Soiree and I think a bunch of quicks. So I'll be in there for a while too. So let's have a good time over there. And thanks again. Appreciate it. See you next time. Oh, I always do that. I say see you next time, like we're parting ways, and then I have to wait another 10 seconds because I forget that that's how long it takes for the raid to go through. All right, guys. See you all over at Max's channel.